Hi everyone, this is Devleena and I welcome all of you to another powerful episode of Iconic Ads with Devleena and Saurabh. And I have my expert co-host with me, the most dynamic Mr. Saurabh Bajaj with us. Hi Saurabh.
Hi. Hi guys. Great to be here again.
Yeah, same here Saurabh. Welcome once again. And I am excited to announce our guest for today. With over 25 years of industry experience, he has worked with clients like Dubai Duty Free, Land Rover, Mashreq Bank, Landmark Group, GSK, and many more. I welcome Mr. Prasad Pradhan, who is a founder director of an advertising firm, Change Creative Consulting. A warm welcome to you, Prasad.
Lovely to see you here.
Same here, man.
Happy to have you here, Prasad, and we are so excited to talk about the brand. Before we proceed to the brand stories and insights, our viewers would love to know about you, Prasad, about you, your background, and then about the brand and your association with the brand.
Sure. So, I started advertising way back in the late 1990s, I would call it. So, my first work experience was with an agency called Chaitra Leo Burnett. At that point of time, it was a merger between Chaitra and Leo Burnett. So, it was called Chaitra Leo Burnett in 1998. So, I joined Chaitra Leo Burnett after passing out from JJ Institute of Applied Arts as an art director. And I spent around 3 years with Leo Burnett at that point of time, and then I got my first break into Dubai. So started working with an agency called the Classic Partnership, where I spent around 5 years working on various brands like I think Landmark Group was one of the most important clients we had at that point of time. So under the umbrella came Home Center, Shoe Mart, Baby Shop, Lifestyle. So these were the primary brands with Landmark at that point of time. Plus, we won pitches on Samsung and a few other things, So it was really an exciting time. And I think Partnership was an agency who had the courage to do really good work in those days in Dubai, So we started off by winning international awards and stuff in the year 2000, 2002. In from UAE. So where those were the early days of advertising in the UAE. I mean, it was new for us. It was new for a lot of people, But the exciting journey in UAE began from there. And then I moved on to Grey Worldwide. I had an excellent opportunity to join Grey Worldwide as an associate creative director. So I took on that role for another 4.5 years with Grey, where I was working on brands like Canon, Audi, GSK, to name a few, which again gave me a very wide range of brands to work on, which is GSK being a pharma has a completely different outlook, while Canon being a digital photography brand has a very different sort of work requirement. Or Audi being an automobile client, it again has a very different sphere of what kind of work it demands. So again, that was huge from its experience. One of the other financial clients which I was handling in Grey was Visa, which was again a big international brand, and it had again a financial sort of angle, so that again demands a very different outlook from a creative person as such. After Grey, I choose to move to another agency called Fortune Promo 7. Due to some reasons, I didn't spend a long time with them. I spent an year with them at the most, and then I got an offer from Y&R, which is England, who became Dubai, and I joined them in around 2011, mid 2011, and then I continued with Y&R as a regional creative director for around 5.5 years. In this role, I was looking after 3 regions. One was Saudi, one was Qatar, and the other one was UAE. So my main client in Saudi was STC, which is a huge client, and they gave us the opportunity to explore Saudi Arabia and to do very edgy work. At that point of time, from many perspectives. Plus, YNR being the creative agency that is known for, we had a lot of opportunity to do good stuff from YNR on in different markets.
So
segments.
today we are going to talk about the brand Noor, right? So can you let us know about the brand Noor a little bit, and what was the objective about?
Definitely. So after I started Change, I was consulting with an agency called Amber, and that's where I met Saurabh because Britannia was one of our clients. So I was lucky enough to meet Saurabh, and we really had a great time on all the briefs that we worked on.
Absolutely.
And so Noor was one of the clients which is a part of the IFCO group. And Noor is a market leader in the Middle East. Noor is a cooking oil basically. For the viewers who don't know or are from India, I don't know if Noor exists in India, but in the Middle Eastern market, Noor is a market leader. When we got the brief, I mean, it's very easy to, in a way, I'm saying from my perspective, I could be wrong, it's subjective. But in a way, I feel when there is a big problem on the table, it's easy to solve it. Because you're gonna apply your wit, you're gonna apply your knowledge to solve a problem. But in the case of Noor, when they came to meet us, when we had the first meeting with our client, the brief was we are already the market leaders. So Noor was already leading the market. It was the number one brand. So there was not really a problem on the table. Or what they actually wanted to do was they wanted to maintain their leadership position, because once you're on the top, you need to be careful as well, because it's very easy to go down from the top if you don't take the right steps. So from a marketing perspective, their objective was I don't want to move my oil bottles from the rack. That's already happening. I'm very happy with the numbers. What I want to do is I want to establish an emotional connection with my target audience. So along with the habit which is making them pick me up today from the aisles of the supermarket, I also have an emotional connection with them. So I sit in their minds. It's not like it's not a commercial decision that traditionally we've been buying Noor and Ethernet. So without a connection, you just go and pick up Noor. No, that's not my objective. I want to talk to the consumer in a way where they remember me, or where they kind of identify with me as a brand. So that I think was very challenging, because that is not an easy problem to solve. You are the number one brand, but you still want to go ahead and beat that positioning, trickle out of it somehow and say, I'm not that arrogant number one leader who's going to say that chest thumping way that, okay, I am the ruler of this category. That's not the tone we want to have. So we took up that challenge, and I think we came up with a very nice campaign called Infinite Creations, Infinite You. It was all about the Infinite Creations and Infinite You campaign was all about the women who were using Noor, because in a way we thought this woman who chooses Noor, we identified that woman, and she had a lot of qualities. So we said it's not a woman empowerment campaign, but hey, there is a role model right here who identifies with the brand, and that is our positioning. I mean, this woman is the one we need to talk to, and how do we connect with her? That was our starting point. So of course there was a print campaign, and there was a TVC, but we wanted to break the ice with a larger than life activation. And our idea was like I said, we do not want to do anything that is on a supermarket level, or just a event which kind of breaks the monotony and establishes something sort of a presence of the brand. We need to do something so iconic that the women who are using Noor feel really proud about associating with the brand Noor, and that's when they will see the infinite creations and their infinite possibilities of why they are so infinite, or why they are bigger by identifying with the brand Noor. this is when the idea came up, and this is when we had this idea of doing something really big on the 89th Saudi National Day, which is Saudi celebrates their national day on 23rd of September. So, being the 89th Saudi National Day, which was approaching, we came up with this idea of making it really big in Saudi, and we said, okay, let's just hit it out of the stadium, and let's go and create the largest Saudi national flag with the help of food, and we involved all the women behind this, or whoever is the role model of this brand. We involve her, and it comes from her. So the whole idea was we invited women through a small digital activation to participate in this humongous activity that we proposed on 89 Saudi National Day. So they could identify with it, and that is what won the Guinness World Record. And every woman who participated in that activation has her name in the Guinness World Record.
Wow.
So from a self pride perspective, it was huge, because they felt like this is what I do every day. This is what I do for my family. But Noor has created or given me a platform which has pushed the boundaries and made me feel proud about myself, not about anybody else, and not in a chest thumping way, but in a very warm, soft, nicer way to feel proud about what they do. That was the good part of this activity, and I think we had a huge response, and you can see it in the case study. And the women were really happy, and getting something like a Guinness World Record doesn't happen every day. And even Guinness World Record has a very stringent way of looking at things. They just don't award the certificate. I mean, there are from their side, they send two educators who come and view the venue. They see what's been happening. They see whether it's been done only by the women who we said that they're going to do it, and we haven't used any external help to do it. So yeah, so it feels like it feels like the nervousness that you have when you're doing or writing an exam. That's the thing you have, because you propose this huge thing for the client, and we are under the day doing it, and then walks in an educator with his assistant, and they're observing, and they have the right to decline the certificate, and just say, no, this didn't work out, this is not up to our mark, and we are sorry, but you don't get this, you don't get this certificate. So imagine raising hopes of those 200 odd women from Saudi, getting them to do something for a very special day on the 89th Saudi National Day, and if anything goes wrong and we don't get it, then it's like it's embarrassing. Plus, more than embarrassing, it's disheartening for the target audience whose hopes you have risen to a certain level. And you want to perform, you want that to succeed. So the minute we got an okay, there was really that thrill which you have never experienced. I mean, which you don't experience day in, day out. Of course, you have that thrill when you crack an idea, but when that thing comes to fruition exactly the way it was visualized, that feeling is very, very different. That's why this piece is so close to my heart, and because it took a lot of planning. We were planning this whole activation very, very carefully for around 6 to 8 months, and after that, for this to come to fruition was really wonderful. So this piece really was very close to my heart, and it first of all, the idea came to life the way it was visualized. Secondly, it did what it was supposed to do, so it kind of spoke to the target audience in a very nice way, and it did strike that emotional connection. So it was definitely, the brand did want to move boxes, because that was happening, as I said, was a part of the brief. But it did strike an emotional connect with its target audience in a big way. And Noor, if I'm not wrong, still continues to lead the market, and is also a preferred brand of the new generation, or to so-called the next generation as well, who's going now to the supermarket to pick up their groceries. So it did its trick the best possible way. And believe you me, from my 25 years of experience, if you've planned something of this scale, there are n number of things that can go wrong. The activation agency might be at fault at some point of time. The client might not be willing to take the risk. There could be so many things in the marketing that could go wrong, and this idea would just not happen. Would get shelved, or could be a million reasons. But why this piece is so close to my heart is because it exactly, by God's grace, it just fell in place, and the purpose was achieved. So it was a wonderful feeling.
Nice. One of the things that will be fun to do is also to see what are the other ads of Noor cooking oil, on digital that they place. So that will also help us marry, this activation with other communication that they do side by side.
Sure. So there was one of the TV commercial was more directed towards this Infinite Creations, Infinite You, where largely, what we did was, it was a comparison between what the woman actually does. So if she's an artist, for example, we took the example of an artist, a woman who is also an artist and a homemaker. So, and we compared her painting or her creating the art to her creating the magic in the kitchen. The painting was revealed in a big show, and then her final dish was revealed on the table in front of the family, where she's a very precision driven woman. So that's the character of the Noor user. So she's very elegant, she's very soft spoken, but yet she has that leadership in her. So it's not that aggressive leadership, but it's a very nice kind of personality that she engulfs her audience with, which is largely her family or her friends, probably.
So it was an amazing conversation, inspiring story. Saurabh, what is the 3 takeaways and learning you would like to share from today's conversation?
Sure. No, so I think it's been a really, really exciting conversation, and for the first time, we have touched about activations as well, other than just advertising. Yeah. And I feel activations are really critical in making brands iconic, because the reason why activations are so important is because you have to get people to live the proposition, and living the proposition doesn't always happen with an advertising. Yeah. Now, if you see the top 3 learnings that we got today, the first big learning that I would like to share is the fact that the ads have to be made from the vantage point of the consumer. You're not trying to see the consumer as a third person. The consumer is living the ad. And here, if you see the way Noor has built the proposition of infinite possibilities, because that's how women in Saudi Arabia and Middle East see themselves, right? So ads are always made from the vantage point of the consumer. The consumer lives it. Consumer has to feel touched by it. Yeah. Second learning is the fact that activations have got a great opportunity to get people to live the proposition, as I was saying, right? Now, women in Saudi Arabia, they love cooking. Right? They really see it as infinite possibilities, infinite meals, infinite dishes, and the fact that Noor is a perfect accompaniment for any of them, right? And that evoking that pride with the confluence of the Saudi Arabian National Day, on the 89th anniversary, with those dishes and these 200 women to get a chance to prepare dishes with that oil and hence be a part of it, I think was a lovely way of building on that proposition of infinite possibilities. And now whenever anybody would see that brand in that country, they would always think about the larger than life activation that was done. The third thing for me is that in an increasingly social world, right? In an increasingly social world, we have to start thinking very deeply about conversations. Right? It's not just about proposition, but also about conversations. When you make your packaging, you have to say that, is that pack Instagram worthy? When you do a product, you say that there's something in it which inspires conversations. Similarly, when it comes to your propositions and when it comes to your activations, how talk worthy can I make it? Right? How do I make the consumer an extension of my marketing or my brand team? How can I get the consumer to talk about my brand and my idea as much as I like to talk about? I think that really is what we learned, right? And hence, just to summarize, first, ads are made from the vantage point of the consumer. The consumer should feel touched by it. Second, how do we look at activations which really, magnify the brand's proposition and get people to live the brand? And third, how much are we living in the reality of this new social world? And how are we looking at how do we make our brand, our consumers, our brand advocates, right? And that can be done through, exciting activations packaging, design, and product formulations from the starting point. I think these for me are the top three takeouts of this conversation.
Superb. And that's how you remain to be the market leader.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Yeah. So these are very powerful and incredible and thought-provoking takeaways, Saurabh. So thank you for sharing such insights on every episode with us, with our viewers. And I'm literally loving the conversations here.
Great. Take care then, and looking forward to next week.
Yes. Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you for being here.